Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Charles Parker. I'm your humble host. I go by Save Our Children. This is my channel, Save Our Children TV. And I also have another channel that is called Charles Reactions and Crime Time. Now, today, for you guys, before I give you the title of today's video, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, thumb up. Cash App is going to be down below, which is money sign capital CPA106, and its stories are called Top 10 Crazy Stories plus one positive story. All right, and that story we're going to start with first. This happened back on January the 14th of 2023. And this happened in West Bloomfield. So, um, let's talk about it. This is one of our positive stories. 7-year-old West Bloomfield girl helps save great grandmother after she was stuck, after she got stuck underneath a car. So let's talk about it. I tried to give at least one to two positive stories out there. 7-year-old West Bloomfield girl helped save great grandma trapped under rolling SUV. West Bloomfield. The doorbell footage in the video above shows a terrifying moment Wednesday afternoon that 7-year-old Mariah Galloway says her great grandma got stuck underneath the rolling SUV. So she was picking me up from school and she thought the car was in park, but it was in reverse, explaining Mariah. And she got out and started moving and she was trying to stop it because I was in it. Mariah says when her great grandmother tried to save her by trying to stop the rolling car, her leg and foot got stuck under the front tire on the driver's side. Thinking quickly, the 7-year-old rushed to pull the keys out of that car ignition, then ran to get her mom's help. Her mother, Portia Lane, said, when I opened the door, all I heard was Mariah screaming. When I got out there was blood everywhere. Miraculously, the great grandmother was able to somehow get her foot free after that. Then an ambulance arrived to take her to the hospital. Lane said her grandmother is currently in the hospital getting blood transfusions but is doing better. Saturday night, Lane planned a mini surprise party for brave Mariah, whose 8th birthday is on Monday. On Sunday, they had planned to have a skate party for the sweet girl, but have decided to delay it so they can spend the day in the hospital, loving on the person Mariah hoped to save, great grandma. She was trying to save Mariah, and she was trying to save Mariah, and here Mariah saved her," said Lane. Mariah leaves us all with some golden advice: be very careful and always follow your heart. Um, uh, um, First and foremost, I want to shout out the parents um, for sharing this story with so many people around the world because there are so many great things and great message about the story. And the parents obviously raise the children right. And when you raise a child to do the right thing, that child is going to grow up and do the right thing without question asked. Um, I personally want to give a huge shout out to um, a big shout out to this brave hero and this brave hero Mariah. It's incredible what you've done. It was brave, and we need more people like yourself in the community helping those who are is going through one of a horrible experience. And yes, accidents happen all the time, but it is our children who always help and do the right thing. And real wishes and speedy recovery to that grandmother. And we need more heroism stories in the media because there are so many negative stories in today's society. And I have about a couple of stories coming up. And got middle school teachers out here doing the most. It's horrible. And we need more feel good stories out here. So thank you again for the horrid actions you took to hope and save your grandmother from being trapped underneath that car. Um, it's amazing, and you are a hero, and it's a great thing. Keep this family in your thoughts and prayers, and we're gonna move on to our second story, which is oh yeah, it's gonna move on to our second story. So let's talk about it. 14-year-old, and pull it up. 14-year-old girl is arrested at Lafayette School after threats to shoot a 13-year-old. Let's talk about it. This happened on January 31st, 2023. Let's talk about it. Bush TV. 14-year-old girl arrested at Lafayette School after threats to shoot a 13-year-old boy. That is crazy. Lafayette, Indiana takes an L. A 14-year-old girl has been arrested after making threats on social media, of all places, to shoot another student at her school, Lafayette police said Tuesday. The threat happened over the weekend in a Snapchat group, says Lieutenant Justin M. Hertman of the Lafayette Police Department. The threats, which included a photo of a gun, were to shoot a 13-year-old boy. The girl and the boy are students at Takemish Junior High School, 2101 South 18th Street. The school is part of Lafayette School Court. The girl was arrested Tuesday at school. The boy reported the threats to school staff on Monday morning, and the school contacted the police department. Herman says the threat was not related to the school. I am so glad that this 13-year-old boy reported this. And I'm going to tell you why. And a lot of the time, when people don't report gun violence or the threat against them, that's what can happen. Well, the trigger man or trigger woman can go to that school, shoot the school up just to get at that person. You got to be careful. I'm glad he said that he saw something and said something. He protected himself and people at the school. And the crazy thing is, you have young women, 14 years old, trying to shoot a 13-year-old. I would like to know what the parents of this 14-year-old think. Obviously, there was no supervision on these social media platforms. To say that on a social media platform is one of the horrible things you can do. There are people watching these platforms, FBI, the police, um, the authorities. People watch these lives. People report these lives. And the sad part is, in today's day and age, speaking of Snapchat, I was watching a YouTuber. I forgot his name. I think his name was Levant. Yeah, Levant. That's his name. And he used to react to TikTok. And when he reacted to TikTok, there were so many children unsupervised on these platforms, dancing, singing to provocative songs, cussing, the whole nine yards. And the parents are just nowhere to be found. In America today, we have evil people. And I'm not going to say the word because I don't want my video to be flagged. But we have people who prey on children. We have people who watch these type of videos that children put out to the public. And it's easy for these type of people to contact your children and snatch them. Just that easy. Talk to your children about social media because you are saving your children lives. Talk to your children friends. Talk to their parents. These children should never been unsupervised on Snapchat, and that what it was looked like. They were unsupervised. One thing can go wrong, and guys could be in trouble. Parents, because you're not supervising your children. A 14-year-old should never be on Snapchat alone. A 13-year-old should never be on Snapchat alone. A 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, 15-year-old, 16, 17 should never be alone on a social media platform because they are minors and there are laws put in place where children shouldn't be unsupervised. So I blame the parents. Sadly, if these parents know how to supervise their children, then your children won't be sitting on Snapchat threatening to shoot a 13-year-old. Just that simple. So these parents should be held responsible. Bottom line, it may seem harsh, but you gotta do your part as parents. You produce these children. Protect your children. We live in a world where it's nothing but crime against children. So protect the children right now on social media. Thank you. Let's move on. Hope this 14 will get the help that she needs. And I hope this 13-year-old get the help that he needs. Um, I know being threatened like that can cause somebody to have low self esteem, different types of issues. So it's harsh. Let's move on. And story 3 out of 10. 17-year-old is accused of recording a student in a school bathroom. Let's talk about it. 7 back on February the 7th of 2023. Lee High School. Back at a high school. Lee High School student is accused of recording a fellow student in the bathroom. Court documents say. Baytown, Texas will take an L. A Lee High School student, for the moment, can't return to school after court documents reveal she recorded a fellow classmate using the restroom. Nevaeh Thompson, 17 years old, is charged with invasive visual recording in a bathroom or dressing area. She appeared in court Monday, January 6th, where she made a 2,500 bond and was released. Charging documents indicate the victim was in a bathroom stall when she looked up, sees herself in recording, leans over in an attempt to cover herself, puts her hand up, and says, "Stop." According to court records, the alleged victim identified Thompson as the perpetrator. It goes on to say that the complaint stated that on January 24th, 2023, during third period, the defendant electronically shared the video of the complainant using the bathroom. In a statement to KPRC2, the Goose Creek CISD spokesperson said Thompson isn't currently at school. The student was charged. The student that was charged has not returned to campus, nor will they. Pending the outcome of charges filed against them, the statement read in part. KPRC C2's legal analyst Brian West said it's within the district's right to keep Thompson out of Lee High until the case is resolved. While the defendant, like any other defendant, is entitled to the presumption of innocence unless and until guilt is proven beyond reasonable doubt in court. The school is well within its right to make sure the student does not return to class at Lee High School. Rice said, I think the teaching moment for parents, you have to install your kids the fundamental distinction of what's right and what's wrong. And I do not think anyone by any stretch of the imagination could ever begin to say that alleged conduct like this comes with an area code, time zone of Hampshire of being right. Okay, I want to say this. I chose to do this stuff for one thing and one thing only. One reason and one reason only. One is for the victim, and two is because this 17-year-old, the charges she was charged with, in my opinion, was bogus. She should have been charged with something higher than what she was charged. If a man did the same type of crime in a school, one, he wouldn't have bond. He would have been sent in jail till he went to court. And two, he would have to register as a you know what offender. So you mean to tell me that a 17-year-old woman, a 17-year-old girl, can record a student in a bathroom stall and get a bond and be and bond out of jail? But if a man did this, it'd have been no bond. This is why women don't learn their lessons because we're giving them a slap on the wrist for committing such a horrible offense. This is horrible. And then to record somebody using the restroom and attempted to share this on the internet should be some type of extortion charge. Okay, it should be selling, uh, P word, the CP word, because this is wrong in so many levels. And I do not think she should be able to return to school in the future. Somebody who commit that type of crime, and especially a felony, should not be allowed to return back to school. Because who say that she won't try to do this again? It is scary to know that a perpetrator can have a right to come back to a school where she victimized someone at. That victim still reside at that school. That is dangerous. That's not smart. You don't put a perpetrator with a victim. You just don't do that. I don't think it's safe. Because who says she won't be caught the next person and do the same thing over again? That's not smart. Um, this she should have been charged with something higher, and I think she should have stayed in jail. To be honest, giving her a bond, that's not teaching her a lesson. Um, all I can say about this story is it's sad. It's horrible, and women are not even doing time anymore for serious crimes like this. She should be in jail awaiting trial. She shouldn't have the power to be walking the streets after doing something so egregious like this. Yet, if a man did the same crime, not only he had no bond, he'd have been found guilty right away and sent to state prison for a very long time. So, come on with the excuses. What excuse does the court have to release somebody who records someone while using a bathroom? I just wouldn't feel safe be listening to the public. I just wouldn't. Not right now. Not ever. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep that victim in your prayers. I know that's traumatizing. Seeing somebody record you using the bathroom. Just no respect. This the world we live in. Story 4. This story right here is a teaching moment for those who have fast cars and do illegal acts in these cars. So let's talk about it. Let's put a story up. Anybody who have a fast car out here, man or woman, mom or dad, aunts and uncles, this is something you want to sit down and listen to. This is the story you want to sit and listen to. Tampa Bay takes an L. SPPD. Let's talk about it. Two additional men arrested is Carlos Fernandez and Alan Berland Jr. Courtesy of the St. Petersburg Police Department, the mugshots. St. Petersburg, Florida takes an L. Here we go. The owner of a motorcycle and the man who police say was driving at more than 100 miles per hour when he hit and killed a teen have been arrested. The child's father was arrested last week on charges on child neglect and being a spectator at a street racing event. According to the St. Petersburg Police Department, Carlos Fernandez, the driver of the motorcycle, and Alan Borland Jr., the owner of the motorcycle, turned themselves into the Pinellas County Jail Wednesday evening. Investigators say a crowd had gathered on 28th Street North near 110th Avenue North for an illegal street racing event the night of January the 28th. According to the police, Johnny Julio Martin brought his 13-year-old son Ethan Julio Martin to watch the street racing. Investigators say at 12:35 a.m., the teen crossed 20th Street into the path of a motorcycle traveling more than 100 miles per hour. The motorcycle hit and killed Ethan and injured a bystander. Fernando is facing charges of culpable negligent manslaughter, vehicular homicide, reckless driving, and street racing. Berland has been charged with culpable negligent manslaughter and being a spectator at an illegal street racing event. Well, The reason why I said people who have sports cars that go fast, this applies to y'all too. Even though they're separate with a motorcycle, we're talking about adults here. And the fact is that somebody chose to be reckless on a motorcycle and go 100 miles per hour, which means to the point where they couldn't probably brake the motorcycle and hit a 13-year-old boy, killing him instantly and injuring another. And the father of the 13-year-old is there spectating, watching the whole thing. Who brings their child to a reckless, basically a reckless event? The event was reckless. That's basically what it was. You brought your son to a deadly, a deadly motorcycle event. These people should never been on a motorcycle. They can't even control a motorcycle. So why would you be on something that is a that is considered a deadly weapon? A motorcycle is a deadly weapon, just like a car is a deadly weapon. If you can't behave yourself on a motorcycle and use it for what it is, then you shouldn't be on a motorcycle because a child, because you want to be negligent by going 100 miles per hour. And I'm gonna say this. I think this is second degree murder, if not second degree manslaughter. This was reckless. It was dumb. There have been people previously, years ago, arrested for speeding in vehicles, in cars, doing donuts, hitting and killing people. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why be so reckless? There's people who are watching you, people, make a fool out of yourselves, driving reckless for attention at a very illegal racing event. So if it's illegal to speed on a motorcycle past 100 miles per hour, why do it? If you know the consequences can be fatal, it could be dangerous. You know, just stupid, just stupid. It wasn't worth it. It was preventable. It was senseless. But your actions have consequences, and these people need prison time. And that father definitely needs to be in prison for the next 15 to 30 years because he needs to face the music. You put your child in a horrible position that day. You took your child to a deadly, illegally racing event. It was a deadly trap. You took your son there. Your son died from you being negligent. Being a negligent parent. Like, comment, subscribe. Put the family of that 13-year-old boy in your prayers and thoughts. It's horrible. And his father is average and not stable enough to be a parent. If you're gonna bring your child to a daily illegal motorcycle, in my opinion, was a ritual. Just in my opinion. That's what it sounds like. A ritual. A legally event. It's dangerous. Dangerous. Let's move on. Story 5. Three 13-year-olds are arrested for killing a man. Let's talk about it. This happened 4 days ago. 13-year-olds are arrested after fatal crash and stolen car killing a 71-year-old. Jesus. A 71-year-old man. Robinson's police said. Let's see what this happened at. This happened in Robbins, Illinois. Illinois takes an L. Three 13-year-olds were arrested Sunday in connection to a fatal crash while in a stolen car, police said. One witness described the second that led to the deadly collision. A group of boys, maybe teenagers, stole a vehicle. The witness said a guy was coming out of his parking lot. Down there, hit him. He spun out 3 or 4 times. Guys got out of the truck and ran. Robertson police noticed a late model Kia with a broken driver's side window driving northbound on Kidsey Avenue around 2:30 p.m. The officer alerted dispatch concerning the suspicious vehicle and attempted to drive in the direction of the Kia. However, the officer immediately noticed smoke from what appeared to be a vehicle accident blocks ahead. When the officer arrived to the scene, he noticed the stolen Kia was involved in a fatal crash with a late model Ford Taurus. Witness said the man was just leaving his driveway near St. Peter Claver Mission Church on South Clare Boulevard at the time. He was struck, unfortunately, and it's terrible, the witness said. The Robertson Fire Department was dispatched and responded to the scene, where a 71-year-old man was pulled from the Ford. First arriving unit found one vehicle heavy damage in a ditch with one person still inside the vehicle, said Nick Malley Sr., chief for Robertson's Fire Department. He was transported to Christ Hospital, where he later died from his injuries, police said. Officials have not yet identified the 71-year-old. Witnesses said the crash happened in front of the victim's home. 3 teens that were inside the stolen Kia were arrested, police said. This reminds me of the Kia Challenge back in Western New York. I'm tired of teens, okay? I am tired of teens stealing vehicles, crashing vehicles, killing other people, or killing themselves because they think that it's cool to steal vehicles. It's cool to be a follower. Do you know what's not cool? Sitting behind bars for being stupid. You got 3 young 13-year-old children that are going to be charged as an adult. They're going to charge them as an adult. If you're bold and big enough to steal, then you big and bold enough to do the prison time. Bottom line, 71-year-old man killing a 13-year-olds killing a 71-year-old man. How, Sway? And where are the parents who are allowing this to happen? There's obviously there's no supervision in these homes. And I understand if these parents have other children, but don't lay down, have children, and can't take care of what you have. You chose to procreate, right? You chose to lay down and have these children. So you should get up, put your feet down, and take control of the situation. And I'm pretty sure these children probably don't have a father figure in their lives because they won't be out here doing what they're doing. It starts at Home. Starts at home. Condolences to the 71-year-old man who have not yet been identified. These 13-year-olds needs to be doing some jail time for sure. Those those 13-year-old parents needs to be doing jail time because if you allow your children, okay, allow your children to just do what they want to do, then you should be arrested for negligent neglect. You should be arrested for neglect. Sad. I wonder now what these parents, these children think now that the 13-year-old have killed a 71-year-old man. All right, let's move on to our next story. It's crazy. Our next story is out of we're on story 6 out of Mobile, Texas now, Alabama. Happened 2 days ago. Let's see. Mobile father is charged with murder, child abuse, and the death of 13-month-old daughter. A Mobile father was charged with murder and aggravated child abuse in connection with the death of his toddler daughter, police said Tuesday. Mobile police officers responded to the Baytown apartments on 601 Village Green Drive around 1:04 p.m. Sunday on a call of an unresponsive 13-month-old toddler, said Capo Katrina Frazier. Mobile fire rescue personnel pronounced the girl dead at the scene, Frazier said. The preliminary autopsy showed the cause of death was blunt force trauma. After investigation, police arrested 31-year-old DeAndre Franklin on felony murder and aggravated child abuse charges. Further information was unavailable. If you purchase a product or register for it, okay, that's nothing. Okay, let me say this. Some people are not suitable to be parents. And for this man to do this to his 18-month-old daughter, you're nothing but a scumbag on the bottom of my shoe. Anybody who could beat a child, uh, are a child, do terrible things to a child, needs not to raise children, needs not to parent a child, and needs to be behind bars for life. Because you are evil, sir. And for you to do this to your own child, and for what reason? What makes you beat your child like this and abuse your child is beyond ridiculous. It is evil. It is it is gruesome. No more chips. You hear me? Say yes. It's horrible. This father needs to get the rest of his life in prison. And women, and men, listen up. If you are in a relationship with a person who you just met or you don't know nothing about, get yourself out the relationship. Because if you have a baby by a person who's abusive and he's abusing you, he's going to abuse that child sooner or later. So protect yourself, protect your children, get out that relationship. It's other fish in the sea. It ain't worth losing your life. It ain't worth losing your child life or your child in the system and you're in jail. So let's be smart people. Let's put our children first. I created this channel to speak for those who can't speak for themselves against the evil who walks on this earth. We gotta do better. This is a dirtbag who should have never been allowed to have children. Simple background check. Shout out to AFC. Could have prevented this. A background on his history, his criminal history. And I'm pretty sure he's been arrested before for abuse. It ain't the first time. And I'm sorry to say this, but this child was failed so many times. And I continue seeing it over and over and over in the media. These children need people like us to speak up and protect them against those who are unstable, unfit, careless, and need not to have children. Thank you for listening to this particular story. Condolences to the family. And may this 13-month-old child rest in peace. To this father, you're going to get yours in jail. You're going to get yours. Yep, you're going to get yours. You just wait. Tell them boys get a hold to you. They're going to make you their little girlfriend. Wait till you get to prison. Just wait. Let's move on. Story 7. Out of 10. Six days ago. Cottonwood student, 13-year-old, is arrested on suspicion of making a terroristic threat at Cottonwood School on February the 10th, 2023. Let's talk about it. A 13-year-old student at Mountain View Preparatory School was arrested Thursday after the administrator learned of him telling classmates about a kill list. Administration at the school was told on Wednesday by students about what the 13-year-old student said, according to a statement from the Cottonwood Oak Creek School District. Cottonwood police said in a statement that Mountain View Prep teachers reported that multiple students had told them that a boy was making direct threats at them, saying, "You're on my kill list." The student was removed from the class by the school principal, who alerted the superintendent and district threat assembly team. It was then determined by the principal, school safety officer, school counselor, and the district's prevention specialist to be a credible threat. Through interviews with students and staff, officers learned that the boy had made statements about students who were and were not on the kill list. Police the teen, reported the teen, said he had no real intention to harm anyone. Officers said they have no evidence to support the substance of a physical list. Initially, the student was sent home with an authorized adult under disciplinary action with additional consequences, pending the outcome of the investigation, according to the statement. According to the statement, the boy was arrested Thursday evening and was being held at the Yavapai County Juvenile Detention Center on the charge of threatening or intimidating interference or disruption of an educational institution and making a terroristic threat. We continue to urge families to maintain an open dialogue with their children and school staff by reinforcing the need to speak to trusted adults. In this situation, effective communication and effective and efficient response by school professionals work as it should. The Cottonwood Oaks Creek School District will continue to utilize our training preparing, prepar- prepar- training preparedness and resources to engage in prevention measures to keep our school community safe, said Cottonwood Oak Creek School District Superintendent Steve King. Let me just say this. This student obviously must be at home watching something on social media or YouTube that is obviously school shooting related. He obviously been looking at something on the internet where a previous school shooter wrote down a kill list. Because how else would that student have access to a kill list? He got it from somewhere, somehow. And that's why I continue to say that parents need to monitor their children because bad things can happen. Luckily, that child didn't have a weapon on him because it could have been a different outcome. Parents, take the time out to talk to your children because the last thing you need to happen is your children end up in handcuffs, sitting behind bars, and you get a phone call from the district or the police department, and they're telling you that your child is behind bars because he's making threats. Please take time to talk to your children. Bad influences are all around America. There are so many bad influences with TV shows. You have reality TV, YouTube shorts, YouTube. Please speak to your children. Speaking of YouTube shorts, I was watching Prison Doctor, and he did 25 years in prison. He got out and he have social media, and he now on YouTube goes to people houses to talk to the children who are out of control. And on the one episode he was out to a bunch of children, and one of the children, he told the prison doctor that he be watching YouTube shorts where it's so much bad influence, and that it was talking about violence, hitting, shootings, all that. And I say this to say this. Please Monitor your children's devices, what they're watching, who they're talking to on the internet, because the last thing you need is for you to get that phone call and your children are locked up. Gotta do better. We have got to do better. Let's move on. Another 13-year-old was arrested on a juvenile detention after a mass violence threats to Wayne County schools. You know, I just don't understand why all these 13-year-olds making these terroristic threats at school. I mean, obviously these children are watching something horrible on social media. Because where would you get the mindset at to make a threat that is so powerful and so invasive to state at school, to say at school, to the point where the police got to be called? It starts at home, parents. It starts at home, and it's your job to talk to your children. It ain't the school job. It ain't the police job. It ain't nobody's job but yours. You produce these children. You need to talk to your children about the stuff that they are doing at school and the stuff that they are watching on the internet. Because you could be arrested for neglect. So think about that. There's real consequences. Be a role model for your children. Monitor your children. Too many children too many children are unsupervised on these platforms, and it's easy to access criminology, and it can embottled into a child's mind, and they can keep that in their mind, and take that to school, and something bad can happen. Boston is going to take an L. The story 9 out of 11. So let's talk about it. Three days ago, woman is killed in Boston stabbing with 16-year-old suspect. Boston police are identifying Boston police are identifying the woman whom authorities say was fatally stabbed by a 16-year-old girl in the city's Jamaica Plain neighborhood. Brianna Brown, who was 21 years old of Boston, was stabbed to death by Romery Measure of Roxbury in a fight over in a fight over explicit photos. According to prosecutors, authorities also alleged that Majia stabbed a 17-year-old girl in the attack. Majia was arraigned Monday on charges of murder and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Under Massachusetts law, arraignments of juveniles ages 14 to 17 who have been charged with homicide would take place in a regular session instead of a juvenile session. Prosecutors allege Majia's boyfriend sent explicit photos to one or both of the victims before she engaged the victim in a fight at about 5 p.m. at 5 Woodside Avenue in Jamaica Plain. She brought with her two male friends that there's evidence that at least one, probably both of her male friends, attempted to dissuade her from carrying out this plan. But she made clear several times that she was there to fight. Assistant District Attorney Nathan McGregor said, before officers arrived at the scene, two people suffering from multiple stab wounds went to District 13 Police Station at 3347 Washington Street. Both victims were transported to separate Boston hospitals. Brown died of her injuries while the 17-year-old girl was seriously wounded in the attack. According to the Suffolk County District Attorney, According to the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, Boston police said the teenage victim is suspected to survive her injuries. Police said officers apprehended Majira in the area of Glen Road immediately after the incident. Just because she went somewhere from point A to point B, maybe she had a knife, did have a knife, that doesn't necessarily give premeditation for murder. In my opinion, in my opinion, defense attorney Stephen Wimeth said. She was held without bail after her arraignment in Boston Municipal Court. She's remorseful, Wimeth said. I think she wishes she could have the whole event back. The scope of this tragedy is immense. One young woman is dead, another seriously injured, and a third is entering a life-altering journey through the court system. District Attorney Kevin Hayden sent a statement. The trauma of this incident touches all of them and all of the families. It also touches anyone who hope and prays for the community less beset by pain and loss. Let me just say this. Basically, the statement happened over a boyfriend of a boy who, I guess, cheated on her, and I guess explicit photos were being sent out. She got mad, stabbed the 21-year-old. I think I'm going to go back to the age. Yes, 21-year-old, killing her, and stabbing a 17-year-old girl, injuring her. You know, first of all, what I don't understand is that this 16-year-old, first and foremost, and the last thing she should be in about his relationship at 16. You're a child, a 16-year-old, and you killed a 21-year-old. You committed a dark crime. And this is why I tell parents, I don't tell parents, but this is why parents need to tell the children to, they need to talk to their children about their behavior because bad things can happen. And I'm pretty sure that there are three mothers that are devastated about what happened. One, the victim's mother, who 21-year daughter is dead. 17-year-old's mother, who is pissed that her child was stabbed. And the third is the suspect mother, who wishes that she probably could have gave her child give her child the help that she needed. Now it's too late. Now your child is sent to jail on murder charges. You failed your child. Congratulations. This is what happened when parents fail their children. They turn to violence. They find a way to get themselves in more and more trouble. They get themselves in deep and deep trouble. The 16-year-old looking at life imprisonment. No doubt about it. For this murder. Sad. But we gotta hold people accountable too. And we gotta stop throwing. You know what's funny about this too? Is that the boyfriend is still in the picture. You know, instead of the boyfriend making a statement because you probably don't want to testify in court. But they will make him testify because he's involved. He's involved. Because his ex, who was 16, killed another woman. And I would like to know this young man's age. Pretty sure this young man is about 17, 18 years old. No doubt about it. Sad case. Give the victim family thoughts and prayers. The surviving victim thoughts and prayers. And the suspect, judgment day will come. You're gonna have to face the music. You're gonna have to own up what you have done. You have changed people's lives forever over a boy. You gotta realize that one day. In adulthood, I cut the 21-year-old woman over a man. Sad. All right. The 10 stories about a story that I saw yesterday. I could not find the article, but I'm going to talk about it. A 13-year-old girl, she was black, threatened to slice another girl's throat because she wasn't involved, because she wasn't invited. Sorry, to the birthday party, to the girl birthday party. So she went on live with a knife, put the knife up to her throat, and showed social media how she would slice this other young girl's throat over her not being invited to a birthday party. And I'm gonna say this: when I saw the video, I was thinking to myself that young girls in today's day and age are so entitled that it is not even funny. And the sad part is that nobody was around when this video was recorded. And it takes me back to the point that I made previously. Parents need to be more in their children's phones, knowing what the children are doing, knowing what the children are recording, because guess who's watching those videos? The police, the FBI, the district attorneys. People are watching these videos and they are monitoring what these children are putting out here. Think about that. And when I watched the video, the only person who was on the news about this story was the victim mother. And she made a good point. She told the media that why was this child on social media recording this type of video, threatening to slice her child's throat. And where are her parents? But I'm gonna tell you, anytime a child record a video and the parents not around, one or two things are happening. One, the parents don't care, and two, there's no supervision in the household. And that's another reason why those children need to be removed from the household. And the parents need to get hit with neglect. And so all of it not being invited to a birthday party. So you're threatening to kill somebody because you was invited to a birthday party? You that entitled? You know, it's scary to be recorded on social media. I mean, just level of dumb. Do you not know there are people watching these videos, taking notes, and reporting this to the authorities and to child protection services? Understand this. Parent needs to be arrested. If this what you allow your children to do, to record themselves making threats on a public platform, then you should be in handcuffs on your way to jail because you're not suitable to be a parent. Absolutely not. No way, shape, or form. Thank you so much for watching. The 13-year-old was arrested. She was booked into the juvenile detention center. Um, Keep the victim in your thoughts, prayers, and her family. The suspect, she needs a lot of help, counseling, anger management, a lot, because she's gonna grow up one day to become an adult. And if, as a child, she is acting the way she's acting, imagine if she get into adulthood. She's gonna stay in and out of jail because she can't control her anger. She can't control her emotions. So this child needs help, and she's in the right place. Hopefully, getting the help that she needs. Also, she will probably face some charges, but she do needs help while she's incarcerated. She needs help. If you're trying to cause bodily harm to someone, you need help. Point blank, period. All right. Before I went live earlier, I was watching a video, and let me get my phone. Find my phone. All right, I have one more story for you guys. This story is about a 15-year-old girl who was falsely arrested. A last story, so let me look it up. We're gonna talk about it. Falsely arrested. Okay, I'm sorry, I got the age wrong. Got the age wrong. 13, I'm sorry. 13-year-old who was falsely arrested. 13-year-old girl falsely arrested. Family of Broward teen falsely arrested over school threat files lawsuit. Pembroke Pines, Florida. The family of 13-year-old Neil Williams, who was falsely arrested last year after being impersonated online by someone who posted threatening messages toward his school, announced Wednesday that they filed a lawsuit against an infant charter school. The Williams family attorney Merwin Porter of Porterfield also announced that they have put the Pembroke Pines Police Department on notice of the intent to bring them into their lawsuit. Nia, who was in seventh grade, was arrested at her home on November 19th by Pembroke Pines police after she was accused of posting a threatening message on Instagram. However, the teen's attorney said she was interrogated by police at home and volunteered to give them her iPad to inspect before she was arrested. As Aubrey Nelson announced, the cover-up is just in the crime. Carter said during a Wednesday morning news conference, Nia is not experiencing a feeling of isolation. I felt distant, like I don't want to talk to anybody, she said. Her mother, meanwhile, felt guilty about her initial reaction. To be honest, when the officers first told me it was her and we have evidence, I was against her, and I felt bad when it was her. Her mother, Zoe Ann Davis. According to a compliant teacher, reported the incident posted to the department and was later determined, determined that another student at the school had actually posted the death. Police confirmed that a 2-year girl was arrested. At this time, we have presented charges to the state attorney, and the current suspect is facing the felony charge of grand threats to kill or do bodily harm. The police department said in a news release. Still, Nia's family is outraged that the young teen spent nearly 2 weeks in a juvenile detention facility with a crime she not commit. Her attorney said another inmate even threatened to stab her over some chocolate while she was at the facility. They also say she had been bullied for months and leaded to the incident through taunting by her peers as well as pushing and shoving her. The complaint states that Nia's mother reported the incident to the school and requested a meeting with administrators, but the school ignored her request and failed to investigate the alleged bullying incident. So Nia's mother removed her from the school and enrolled her at another school. According to the complaint, Nia and the student accused of creating a fake Instagram profile using her name had engaged in a conversation on on social media platform. The student then created the fake Instagram profile and sent messages to herself and would appear like they had been sent from Nia, the complaint stated. The messages included threats to blow up the school and kill people, including the student who police said was responsible for the messages and his teacher, identified as Elia Saveria and the teacher's family, the complaint stated. The lawsuit stated that Saveria alerted school officials in the Pembroke Pine Police Department. The school was placed on a yellow alert and police went to Nia's home. The complaint stated that Nia admitted to engaging in a conversation online with the other student but denied sending it during the messages. It stated that she had also allowed police to take and inspect the information she used to communicate with the student was still investigating. According to the complaint, Nia was finally claimed that wrongdoing. Police discovered the IP address actually linked to another student joined the messages. During Wednesday news conference, the reporter called Nia's arrest reckless and said the police department conducted a joke of an investigation. Failure to comply Failure to properly investigate this easily discoverable. Information by the Pembroke Pine Police caused New W to remain in a juvenile detention facility away from a family for 11 days, the complaint stated. Lawsuit seeks an excess of 30,000, excluding interest costs and attorney fees. Nia's mother told reporters Wednesday that no one from school or prison has punished her or her daughter for their actions. I want to say, ouch. Okay, I want to say this. Number one, Nia Wims, who's 13, who's falsely arrested, is black. She's a black 13-year-old. And this is the sad part is if a white student, right, was falsely accused of this crime, they wouldn't have been arrested. So the fact that this 13-year-old was arrested for something that she did not do tells me that the system is broken. And if there's evidence that somebody else did this, then I'm going to tell this mother right now that she needs to file a big ass lawsuit against the police department because they're running a game. Okay, they're running a game on you, and then school is also running a major game on you and your family. And the last thing you need to deal with is a speed bump during this investigation. They're trying to do everything in their power to not to be held responsible for their conduct, their mistake. And again, I talked about during my last videos that it's important that parents monitor their children. You have a 12-year-old, okay, a 12-year-old who are on social media pretending to be a 13-year-old, sending threatening messages to the school. And yet, it takes for evidence, proven evidence, to release a victim from police custody. This is a victim who was victimized by another child at the same school of impersonation. Police did a horrible job investigating. If there's somebody being impersonated, the investigation should be like this. You would investigate everybody involved until you get a conclusion, till you get an answer. Not to lock up a victim for a crime that the victim didn't commit. Understand this. I'm glad this parent took her child out to school and enrolled her into school. Now, this mother could also file a lawsuit against us, the suspect mother, the 12-year-old mother, because this is a defamation case, defamation of character. What you got? Baby, what you got? I want some. I want some. Everyone, I will be suing everybody involved. The police for wrongfully arresting a child, the actual suspect and her parent, the school, police department, everybody involved. This was a big cover up, and it only happens in the black community against one of a kind, and that's against our black children who are falsely arrested and accused of a crime that they have not committed. Time and time again, we continue seeing it over and over again. And when are we going to get sick and tired of getting sick and tired of seeing it? Something has to be done with the system because it's very, very broken. Very, very broken. This child is traumatized by being arrested for a crime she didn't commit. PTSD, anxiety, it's a lot that plays a role when you falsely arrested. This child's gonna need a lot of help from what she experienced, and it should come from it should come from the police department, that school, the suspect mother. It should come from all around that area. You know, it's horrible. Time and time again, I keep seeing children being impersonated on the internet by other children. The internet is a dangerous place. It's dangerous, and that's another reason why we need parents to not only protect their children, but to watch their children on these platforms because it is dangerous, and you have corruptions, police corruptions, watching these videos, taking notes, moving in and arresting the wrong person when the whole time there was somebody else responsible for this crime. And to spend 2 weeks behind bars for a crime that the person didn't commit, this should be a major lawsuit on the police department. A major. For a wrongful imprisonment. So there's a whole lot that goes on with this.
When you're anyone you know stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune? If you came in contact with water while at Camp Lejeune and have been diagnosed with cancer or Parkinson's, you may be entitled to compensation. As a Marine stationed at Camp Lejeune myself, we'd be honored to represent you.
Major update about the teen who was falsely accused of making a threat against her school. The 13-year-old was arrested and spent nearly 2 weeks in a juvenile detention center for the crime she did not commit.
So today we learned her family has filed a lawsuit. Local 10's Christina Vasquez is joining us live. She's in Pembroke Pines with the story you exclusively saw first on 10. Christina, give us the update.
Well, her mom is really saying that at this point, this lawsuit is even bigger than her daughter. She's fighting for her daughter. She said, yes, of course, but that the lawsuit is really aimed at fighting for reform. Nia Wynn, a young teen expressing feelings of isolation.
I feel distance, like I really don't want to talk to anybody.
A mother's guilt.
To be honest, at first when the officers told me it's her and we have evidence, I was so against her.
Now translating into a fight for reform.
They introduced a shock to her life, and I'm here trying to fix it.
In part, Leslie Ann Davis explains, with this civil suit filed against her daughter's former school, Renaissance Charter at Pines, and Instagram's parent company, Meta. Attorney Marwan Porter said they also plan to include Pembroke Pines police, saying school and police officials failed to properly investigate the facts.
They need to make sure that they do their homework prior to putting our children in handcuffs and locking them up.
It stems from this, Nia's November arrest and placement in a juvenile detention center. At the time, police were investigating threats to the school made from an Instagram account with her name. Later learning, another student set up a fake account in her name to frame her. Their attorney says the experience of spending 11 days in a juvenile detention facility for a crime she did not commit has been traumatizing.
I was scared.
And while race is not mentioned in the suit, it was addressed during today's news conference.
You have to wonder if this was a white little girl from a private school, would this have happened?
Police have said they notified prosecutors immediately after new evidence obtained from a subpoena exonerated her. Charges were dropped, and police say the person responsible was arrested.
This was reckless.
We have taken the time to investigate thoroughly before introducing trauma to any child at all.
A spokesperson for the school said they do not comment on pending litigation. We have yet to hear back from Meta. Meantime, you can read the complaint for yourself on our website. That's local10.com. Reporting live for you tonight, Christina Vasquez, Local 10 News.
All right. My closing thoughts about this is that, like I said before, and they said in the media, if this was a white child, it would have been totally different. Police don't really investigate through. They just let the cuffs on, take you to jail, take you to juvie, and try to make themselves the big dogs around here. Just because you wear a badge, a blue suit, or a black suit, and they got the name policeman on you, you wasn't born with that name, police. You still can be arrested as a police officer. There have been police officers arrested for tampering with evidence, killing black people, killing other people, committing all types of different crimes. So let's not just, and it's not all cops. It's some. You have really good cops, but you have really trashy cops. You have cops who will listen to one side of the story, not the other, and quick to throw the handcuffs on to make themselves a priority. So I just hope this mother go through these big lawsuits against everyone involved. Can you imagine being locked up for 11 days for a crime you didn't commit, in a cell, eating nasty food, getting threatened? But we gotta do better, people. Gotta do better. Starts at home. Starts at home. It starts at home. All right, we're done. See you on Monday.